In this video, we're going to talk about how to go from 0K to 100K a month with an ad agency. So Robin, you were asking me, you're currently at the point where you're scaling your agency, and you basically, one of the questions you had is, hey, how do you go from doing, let's say 20K a month to 30K a month to doing 100K a month? So what specifically would you like to know about that process?
Yeah, so I'm just curious, like, what is expected of me team-wise? Like, I know I need to build maybe a team, but like, do I need to build a team? What kind of team? How many people? Then the other thing is like, how do I kind of scale my lead generation? Because you need to get more leads and more clients to get to those higher regions. So yeah, that's what I was curious about.
Cool. So in my opinion, scaling to 100K a month comes down to a few things. First is team. So number one is at a certain point, whether it's 10, 20, 30K, around that point, you need to hire a really good operations person. Somebody who really understands how to essentially have an agency run really well. Now, it may be that you are that operations person and you're really good at building systems and processes and managing people, in which case it might be the opposite problem where you need to hire somebody who's a good salesperson or a good marketing person to come in and actually bring in leads to the agency. So with any agency, there's a few choke points. The first is marketing and the second is operations. Depending on what the founder's good at, it could be that your major hire in that space is going to be an operations person or marketing person. Now keep in mind, what I'm saying is that they're not your first hire. I'm saying they're your most important hire. So your first hire is probably going to be an assistant or some sort of part-time project management role, and then you might have some copywriters come in, a junior media buyers. But eventually, your fourth hire or so, the most important hire is going to be that key person who's either a whiz at operations if you're weak at operations, or a whiz at marketing if you're weak at marketing, right? So essentially, whatever you're weak at, they need to be strong at. And from there, you're going to hire more people. At a certain point, you're going to want account managers. A lot of agencies have account managers, which are project managers combined with basically strategists, right? So they're more on the side of talking to the clients, making them feel good, but also making sure everybody's getting things done with the account, right? So they're basically the owner of the account, and then they might have a media buyer under them, a copywriter, tracking specialist, and so on. And other key hires we've made is definitely always having a part-time tracking assistant. Even if they're working 15 hours a week, having somebody who's an expert at tracking to help you out in tricky tracking situations is essential. I notice a lot of agency owners trying to figure it all out themselves. If you're not technical, if you don't know how to code, or if you don't know how to do any kind of really advanced tracking stuff, it's better to have a tracking expert help you out with the implementation of that. So that's another key role. Now, I've talked about the team, right? So once you get to 100K a month, you'll have probably maybe an account manager or two account managers, a few media buyers, you might have a copywriter, and perhaps a part-time tracking specialist, right? And then you'll also have video editors in there as well, because editing is a big part of YouTube ads. From there, the second portion is lead generation. You want to make sure as you scale up, you have multiple sources of lead generation. So for us, we have our Facebook group, we have our YouTube channel, we have some other outreach methods as well. So you want to make sure you at least have 2 to 3 lead generation methods, because when you're starting out, it's fine to just do one method. As you start scaling up, you'll probably find that that one method hits its limit and you need to start expanding out into other lead generation methods. So those are 2 key components. Now the third component is pricing. One of the issues I see is when a freelance agency owner starts out, they're charging $1,000, $2,000 a month, and it's too low to really scale that, because once you bring in all these team members, the fact is your overhead is going to be quite high, right? So you need to start charging 5K or 4K a month to really make a good profit, because now you have, let's say, your operations director, you have your media buyer, you have an account manager, and you have all these contractors, and you want to make sure they're good contractors and good media buyers. You can't just have people who are mediocre. At that point, you really need to make sure that you have higher pricing, because now you're paying for all these people, and it's required to do that because you can't deliver good results without specialists. You can't have one person do all that work, right? As a beginner agency owner, it's easy to get results sometimes by being a solopreneur, because let's say you're kind of able to handle everything, but at scale it's really hard to do everything yourself, right? And also, quite frankly, the results you get will be much better when you have somebody who's really good at tracking, setting up your tracking, versus you just figuring it out on the fly, right? So you're able to kind of build this well-oiled machine. So to build that well-oiled machine and to sustain it, you need to have higher premium pricing. So the team, and then having that lead generation, obviously you'll need some systems in there as well, and that's what the operations person is. Our director of operations really helped us clean things up and build a lot of systems. And then you'll obviously need the pricing to support that infrastructure, so you have a stable agency where clients stay on, they get good results, they're happy, and you don't do everything. Because quite frankly, if you're doing everything as an agency owner, you're not really running an agency, you're a glorified freelancer, and you can't sell that agency at that point, right? Like if you want to be able to exit the agency at a certain point, it needs to be something that works well without the founder. A good founder makes himself somebody that can be replaced, right? That's what the job of a good founder is to basically scale the company and essentially make sure the company runs well without him. So that's pretty much it on how to scale from, let's say, 10 to 30K a month to 100K a month. Do you have any thoughts on that or any other questions?
No, sounds solid, thanks.
So make sure to smash the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to get more video updates.